Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. This is a show by the people, for the people. And you, my friends, are my people. So we love to see the interaction. Get in there, leave your comments. Let us know what you think. Participate in our community because that is just the way we like it. On today's program, Josh Allen talks about his record-setting contract. We've got Championship Friday for America's Poll of the Day, a generous helping of Super 70 Sports tweets sprinkled throughout. But let's begin. WNBA players, women's basketball players in general, giving Caitlin Clark her flowers, giving her the appreciation that she deserves as the savior of the WNBA. And it's taken one of the old school women's basketball legends to maybe start to set the record straight a little bit. I speak of Reggie's big sister, Cheryl Miller, who was on the All the Smoke podcast, and she told Steven Jackson that Caitlin Clark has had an impact on the league that should be recognized and appreciated. Let's roll the tape.
I was like, come on, you big dummies. Is she getting hyped? Yes. But she was in the backyard. She was putting in the same time, sometimes maybe more than you were.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I can't fault her for what she was given. But, look, as much as she was given, you can't tell me if that door would have swung the other way where she didn't live up to the hype.
Right.
Come on, folks are still waiting for her to fall.
Exactly.
Come on.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So with that being said, you big dummies, you getting paid now.
Right.
Everybody now has an opportunity to pull up their chair and have a seat.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there you go. How about that? A little bit of sense and reason? Cheryl gets it, but Reggie said that Cheryl's better than him. Relative to her peers, of course. But Cheryl Miller, some think she's the greatest that's ever done it. She made her name at USC. And in the Olympics, she predates the WNBA. So maybe because she wasn't a WNBA player, she can see the matter a little bit more clearly than, I don't know, the Atlanta Dream, who can't even admit that they're moving to a big arena in order to accommodate Caitlin Clark's adoring throng of fans. The WNBA has sponsorships on their jerseys. Sometimes they take up more space on the jersey than the team name, it seems like. Reminds me of playing T-ball and Little League Baseball and maybe even softball teams that you've been on before. You always need a good sponsor. The Bears had Chico's bail bonds. And these young ladies, well, they had the liquor store. We need a sponsor for the girls softball team. Well, don't just stand there. Start calling some liquor stores. What better? Who better to be the ambassadors for your liquor store than a bunch of 12 and 13-year-old girls? Nothing says let's get drunk like watching girls play slow pitch softball in a mediocre fashion. I've always said that. I'm sure that intuitively you have always known it yourself. Cheryl Miller gets it, okay? Cheryl Miller gets it, and that liquor store got it. They understood self-promotion, and Josh Allen gets it as well. I think Josh Allen, the league MVP, I would have voted for Lamar, but Josh Allen was equally deserving, so I can't say anything against it. But I'm really as much of a fan of Josh Allen as I am on the field, and he's one of my very favorite players to watch in the contemporary NFL. Something that I like better about Josh Allen is the kind of person that he seems to be. And he was recently asked about his record-setting contract, and he said that eclipsing Dak Prescott as the highest paid player per season in the game just simply wasn't a priority. Let's listen to Josh.
It didn't seem like, to my perspective, I was taking a whole lot less. But when the way that I make sense of it, when you start getting these fairly big numbers throughout the entire league, it's weird to say this, but what's five more going to do for my life that I can't already do right now, right? So it's not that crazy to me, right? Like I live a pretty good life, got a house, got a car, we're good. But I wasn't looking to absolutely kill them at every chance that I could. And I told my agent that. I was like, hey, if this has any impact on the pack, or impact on the cap, I should say, let's figure out a way to not do that. So again, both sides were willing to move and change different things, and it was a pretty calm mannered negotiation, is what I can say, at least what I can hear on both sides. So it was good.
His priority is obviously on winning. And from a man who wouldn't really feel the difference of $5 million a year, let's go to a man who has carved out such a niche for himself in society financially that he probably wouldn't even notice $500 if it went missing from his bank account. I speak, of course, of the international streaming star. Ronnie T-Shirts joins me from Nashville, Tennessee. And Ronnie, happy Pi Day.
Happy Pi Day to you, Ricky.
Thank you.
I agree. 3.14. Stop.
We need to stop there. I don't know what my girl is doing.
Which one? How old's the one? Which one of it? The
14.
age? Just
yes.
Okay.
High school freshman, 14 years old. But you know what? That's better than being on drugs.
It absolutely.
I mean, arguably, I don't know. I'm just imagining her like Zach Galifianakis in The Hangover, with all the numbers running around in front of her eyes as she's 90 numerals behind the decimal point, trying to remember the rest of it.
I mean, imagine that.
Do that.
I don't know. Imagine that after school special. My daughter trying to learn pi to the 100th place.
There's a real ratings grabber. Ron, what do you think of Cheryl Miller? We heard her a little bit earlier, and she took a different tone than what we've heard from Diana Taurasi and some others.
Swoops.
Cheryl Swoops. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's just common sense. I mean, we're at a point now where we're applauding common sense, right? Like, I mean, I'm not coming down on us and like what we're putting on the show. I'm just saying as a whole, like, hey, we're just like,
hey, there's somebody that's normal. We're going to start shouting out everybody who's normal. It's getting harder and harder to find them in this society. I fear.
You and I talked about this the other day. You and I talked about this the other day, man. I've started to do some. Oh, I can't believe I'm admitting this internationally right now, but I've started to do a bit of a deep dive on Paige Bueckers highlights. Whew, buddy, she's good. Like I know producer Tim's a huge fan. Oh my God, she's good, Ricky. Like when she's in the league next year, I will actually watch her play. Like she has got some sick moves.
You sent me the highlight reel. There was a TikTok or whatever you sent me. Look, she's good, and they need all the good that they can get.
And then Juju will be out in a couple of years.
Her problem has been, well, Paige's problem has been injuries.
Injuries, correct.
She's got bad injury background, so the thing for her is going to be staying healthy. But you get Juju Watkins and Paige Buckets in the league, and as I've said, you can't build it on one or two players. And I'm telling you, college is really the breeding ground for women's basketball stars, just like it used to be for men's basketball when we were growing up, Ron. We've kind of lost that. You got guys who come in and it's 1 year and they're on, and you don't really know who they are a lot of the time when they're going into the league unless you've been following it really closely. But in the women's game, the way things are set up right now, you're getting to see some of these ladies play 2 or 3 years. And so by the time that they come out, they have star power. And I think they're going to have to build the star power around Caitlin from the college ranks. I'm not saying that Asia Wilson and people like that folks can't get up to speed on them, but it seems to me that the NCAA route is how you're going to become a megastar in the WNBA going forward. So they need these girls to come up, these young women, to give Caitlin Clark some folks that are worthy rivals to her.
Yeah, man, you're absolutely right. We talk about it all the time, and it's a funny word to use, but it's I think it's pretty appropriate. Is back in the 80s, I had relationships with college basketball players. Like I knew about Patrick Ewing and I knew about Ralph Sampson and I knew about Olajuwon and Drexler and Pearl Washington and Chris Mullen and like all these guys. Like I knew about them because I'd learn about them for 1 year and then I'd be excited and I'd read about them and they'd come back the next year and I'd watch their growth and then they'd start getting in front of the camera a little bit more and so I'd learn what kind of person they were. And then by the time they get into the pros, I'm like, I really like this guy. Like I had a relationship with him. Ricky, I know Cooper Flagg. Tell me another college basketball player's name right now. Like I can't do it other than a couple of Ohio State players because I
used to be able to name the entire. There was a time if you had come up to me when I was 12 or 13 years old, I could have probably given you every starting lineup. You know, how many teams were there in the ACC back then?
Well, 8, you can do NC State's championship team right now, can't you? Derek Wittenberg, Carol Bailey.
Sidney Lowe.
Yep.
Terry Gannon off the bench. Cozell McQueen.
Yeah, like you're just
Lorenzo
reeling
Charles.
these off, dude. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I could sit here. I look back now and, I can name more guys that were playing for Georgia Tech in 1983 than I can probably name in the entire game today, Ron. So I think the women have a little something that they can exploit here because there is something to be said for getting to know the characters. And so there's an opportunity to get to know the players in the NCAA women's game that the men's game doesn't really have. And that's something that they have working for them. And I hope that they have a pipeline coming up over these next few years of exciting players that can fill things out because it's hard for Caitlin to do all the heavy lifting by herself. And Angel Reese, while controversial, and we talk about her and she gives us a lot of food for conversation, she just simply isn't anywhere near on the level as a talent that Caitlin Clark is. Juju Watkins is. Paige Bueckers, I think, is in that conversation as well. So it'll be a lot of fun. But we had boots on the ground yesterday at the SEC tournament and today as well, for that matter. And let's go to him now. I've had withdrawals from having this man on the program since the college football season ended. He is OutKick senior national college football writer and a man who is still NWO for life. Always a pleasure to welcome Trey Wallace to the program. Trey, what's up, brother?
My man, I'm good. I think I'm still in like a daze from yesterday at the SEC tournament. I think I got back to my room around 3:30 this morning. So it's going to be a quick turnaround today. So much madness, that happened at the SEC tournament. We had 2 buzzer beaters yesterday. We had one game going to double overtime. So we're going to see what today brings, dude. It's going to be a fun one when Auburn and Ole Miss play here a little bit. Tennessee plays Texas in the early afternoon. Then tonight we get some other big matchups. So it's it's been crazy already in Nashville.
Well, dude, it sounds like you're living the good life down there in Nashville. Ronnie T-Shirts is probably jonesing to hook up with you and knock a beverage back. What's standing out for you, man, right now? We are, coming up on Bracket Sunday. There's a lot of stuff going on, obviously. Great things with these college conference tournaments that are going on. What's got you jazzed up right now at this point in the season?
It was almost last night when Kentucky about lost, seeing about 18,000 people dressed in blue having to drive back to Lexington after a loss, and then all of a sudden, they hit that game winner. When I thought Oklahoma, wow, my God, they were down 6 with 41 seconds left. But I think overall it's just the atmosphere. I think college basketball this time of year, man, I like to say it's the most wonderful time of the year, even with the college football playoff going on. So many teams, so much at stake is the cool part about it. I think even in the mid-major tournaments, brother, it's you get these teams that are getting in the dance for the first time ever. You got Will Wade, who is, just the OG right now, who's going to get a bigger job next year. Donna McNeese taking his team in. And then I'm sitting here in Nashville, we got the SEC tournament going on, potentially 14 teams getting in from one conference. to the NCAA tournament. So look, man, it's shaping up to be an incredible Sunday, Selection Sunday, that is, getting ready for March Madness. And now we sit here and we look at it. I think it's more like, brother, it was 11 o'clock in the morning yesterday, and I'm walking to the arena, but I was walking around like 10:30 going to the arena, and I'm seeing pedal taverns. I'm seeing these folks on drunk buses at 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning, and my mind is blown. It's like, is this really happening? Are these people getting sloshed at 11 o'clock in the morning on a Wednesday or a Thursday? This city is off the charts when it comes to absolute craziness, whether it's a pedal tavern, some big school bus coming by with girls wanting to yell like it's a sorority party at 11 o'clock in the morning. Like, this whole town, it's a party, brother. And I think that's what the cool thing about having the tournament here. I look forward to the day that they get this damn stadium built over here so they can host a Final Four and a WrestleMania, by the way, here in Nashville. So that's kind of on my radar. And I just, man, you can't beat this time of year where there's basketball on all day long. And then we'll get a day off on Monday. Then we'll get to play in games. And so this is it's going to be madness. And I think today you're going to see a couple upsets probably in the SEC tournament. And now it's all about politicking. How many teams can you get in? So, man, I'm excited. There was even a fight last night in the stands of the Clemson, SMU basketball game where they had to stop the game because two guys were brawling pretty much just off the court in the stands. So what I'm saying is this time of year brings out the absolute craziness in people, and I love it.
Trey, alcohol.
Yes.
Bringing out the best in sports fans since forever. I'll tell you, you get enough alcohol coursing through your system, and any sporting event becomes just a thrill ride.
Well, I'll throw one at you too, brother. This is the first time at the SEC tournament that they have allowed just the general public to purchase alcohol. Usually it's for the high rollers and the sweets, the guys with the buttoned up collars that come in and want to buy all the alcohol, and they get the opportunity. But now everybody gets it. So we're going to have 21,000 people tonight. And I'm sure about 18,000 of them are going to be blitzed out of their minds. So sign me up.
Oh, man. They haven't even known what fun is before this. We're going to take it to the next level here. Trey, I don't want to put you on the spot here, but I will, because, what fun is it if I don't? Who are going to get and this might be an easy question. This is where you give me a little basketball 101. You certainly helped me with college football in a big way this year. Who are going to be the number one seeds, and what is your quick little breakdown on the best teams that I should be looking at as I perk up once a year to, become a hardcore basketball fan for a couple of weeks?
Yeah, brother. I mean, I think obviously it's going to be Duke. I think the Cooper Flag stuff from yesterday, he's got a sprained ankle. Best player in the country, probably next to Johnny Broome from Auburn. I don't think he should play in the ACC tournament anymore. Whatever. That's another discussion. Duke's going to get one. Auburn's going to get one. Could it be a scenario where we have Florida? See, that's where it gets interesting here at the SEC tournament. And I'll sit here and I'll bring it up. What I wrote about yesterday is, Florida, Alabama, and Tennessee are all fighting for the other number one seed per se in the tournament. So I'm sitting here and looking at it right now. I mean, there's a scenario. Look, Houston's going to get the other number one. So we can just put Duke, Houston, Auburn. There's your three. And then I think what it comes down to, and I could be wrong here, but you got Florida, Alabama, and Tennessee playing today. I think whoever makes the championship game on Sunday, I think that's the team that snags the other number one seed, and that would give you 4. So 2 out of the SEC, obviously Duke, and then Houston. But, we could see some crazy things happen. And my biggest concern now, too, for Duke is, okay, Cooper Flag, man, if this guy's got like a high ankle sprain or something like that, don't play his ass in the first round. You don't need him against a number 16 seed. You got to watch out for that second round game on that Saturday or Sunday when they play an 8 and 9 game. So to me, those are your top four. But man, I was a little thrown off yesterday when Cooper went down. So maybe shifting a little money away from Duke if they were to, be susceptible to a loss in that second round. So Ricky, it's going to be a little crazy here. And I'll tell you this, I'll give you a little tip for betting. I would probably, if Houston's playing somebody in the second round that can shoot the basketball and get up and down the court, take that team against Houston. I think Houston, out of all the teams, is the one that's not going to make the Final Four.
All right. I'm going to file that away and remember that. Also,
I'm going to text it to you. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Text. Yeah, please do. Because I'm on the north side of 50. The memory's not what it used to be. Trey, let's talk a little football. It wouldn't be right if we didn't.
Yep.
We got a draft coming up in the not distant future here. What I'm hearing is, Cam Ward most likely will be the selection of the Tennessee Titans. Tell me where you see Travis Hunter and where you see Shedeur Sanders ending up.
Yeah, see, that's the interesting part about all this is who's actually going to take that number one pick. Are the Titans going to trade out of it? This city around here is buzzing because they want a damn quarterback. What are you trying to sell your franchise on? I mean, people are apathetic now. I mean, it's bad around here. So you better go out and you better find one. If you don't draft, in my opinion on this is if the Titans don't draft a quarterback, go get Travis Hunter. Go get somebody that can be marketable. Go get somebody that's going to be a star in this league. I do think Cam Ward is going to be a guy that probably is going to be overall number one. So what does that mean? Does that mean Cleveland's going to try to move in and potentially grab Shedeur? What are the Giants and the Jets going to do? It could be a situation where, they potentially, I don't want to say drop because I hate to use words drop when we're talking about, picks 1 through 8 or 1 through 10. But could that be a spot where we see, a Travis Hunter that maybe is sticking around if somebody wants to take the quarterback? So I think overall what we're looking at here is, in a perfect world, the Tennessee Titans, would take their quarterback. And if that's Cam Ward, be it Cam Ward. I know a lot of people are wanting Shedeur Sanders, but right now, I think with the draft getting so close, pro days are kind of wrapping up as we get, inching closer to Green Bay, where they're hosting this thing. I do think there'll be a quarterback at 1, Ricky. I just don't know which team is going to be that guy yet to take it. So is it going to be somebody that drafts up and gives the Titans something where they can move back? So there's a lot of pissed off people in this town about the organization. I don't think a new stadium is going to do anything to excite them. So they better figure out this NFL draft thing quick.
We're lucky that today is Championship Friday, so let's waste no more time in throwing it to America's poll of the day. And let's go there now. It's Super 70 Sports on X, where the eagle flies high and buzzes the tower with 4 options that the Super 70 Sports Nation have curated for us today. That's right, you guys pick these 4 from Monday through Thursday. Let's give you a quick little review of what you've chosen. Today, competing for the championship, we have burritos. Hailing from Mexico City, Mexico. I don't know where burritos originated. I assume they originated in Mexico. I don't know, Jared. Take a look at that. We got dodgeball. That is the sport of dodgeball, not the movie, although I guess if you want to vote for it on the basis of the movie, you're free to do that. It's your life. Third, we've got you get pulled over, but the cop doesn't give you a ticket, which I have a bad feeling is too strong and is going to run away with this, if I'm being honest with you guys. And then lastly, we've got Beavis and Butthead. Ronnie, break it down for me as only you can.
Well, I think we should just be trying to focus on who's going to finish in second. I don't see a world where cop doesn't give you a ticket, loses.
I know, dude. I know. It's like I wait to do these in the morning too often. And if you weren't bailing me out, and shout out to Tim and Jared for their contributions in the bailing Ricky out department as well. If you didn't bail me out, I would really be struggling some of these mornings. I need to write them at night when I have more time. But the hardest part, Ron, and we're going to have a show philosophy on this going forward. The
What's
hardest part is we're doing 20 options a week for 6 months now.
Not repeating.
We've gone through a lot of stuff. Yeah, I know we've repeated a few things, some by accident, if I'm being honest. But at some point, we're going to have to start reintroducing things back into the mix. I think, once a year, you can use something and it's still fresh, but it gets harder to come up with stuff that you haven't used, at least for me.
It is an absolute challenge to do it because, like all the time, Ricky, I want to put in Shawshank. Well, who are going to and if we're put Shawshank in it, we've got to put in Seinfeld and pizza and beer and bacon, right? Like you have to make sure that what you're matching it with theoretically matches with that. So yeah, I think we're playing for second here. I'm going to go, for me, because of we talked about this on the show. I never even considered breakfast burritos, but because of breakfast burritos, I'm going breakfast burritos. For me,
you still got breakfast burritos on your mind. You thought about that a few days ago. You're still thinking about
are there certain foods? Are there certain foods where like you can literally put yourself back in the place where you had the best version of that food ever? So breakfast burritos. Lori and I were at the Inn of the Governors in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Best breakfast burrito I ever had, something like 33 years ago. And I can remember it.
Wow.
So,
is it like Elaine's boyfriend when he heard Desperado? Remember that episode where he would just be like, "No, wait, Elaine." You start reflecting on that breakfast burrito?
Kind of.
Once in a while.
That's why
33 years. That must have been a goddamn good burrito, Ron.
I have a love-hate relationship with food, Ricky. You know that.
I do too, brother.
I love Beavis and Butthead. I can live without Dodgeball. So for me, I go burritos. I think burritos is going to I'm going to go with burritos. Number 2 is going to finish number 2.
All right. Well, let's bring in the greatest goddamn producer in the entire entertainment industry. He is, of course, producer Tim. And Tim, you've heard Ron's reasoning for his vote and how he stacks these. What are you thinking?
Breakfast burritos, Ron. I don't know. Maybe I need to go to the End of the Governors at Santa Fe, New Mexico, because they're always runny. They're either runny or liquidy or too much cheese. Not sure, but
sometimes they can be bland if you get a bad one.
No, but if you get, it's one of those that the good ones are amazing and the bad ones are bad. Certain foods, it's kind of like, even bad ones are good. Burritos definitely fall into, there are bad burritos. I agree.
Especially breakfast burritos. I think there's a greater chance of getting a bad breakfast burrito than a bad regular burrito. I might be wrong about that.
Yeah, and then it also sort of it buries the beauty of a runny yolk. I mean, if you want scrambled, get scrambled. You could order off the kids menu, I guess. But we're dodgeball, Ricky. I think a lot of good reasons why that.
I feel seen right now, Tim. Why did I feel like we've never discussed this, but that felt like it was directed directly at my chest.
Not at all.
I'm with you, Ricky. Scrambled egg.
Your sheriff's badge is gone now. By the way, it looks good. You're
okay. Good. Oh, is it? Thank you.
Listen,
you can't take me anywhere. You give me a TV show, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to act right.
Well deserving. Dodgeball. Look, I think there's a lot of good reasons why you guys are right. Something like bacon or even dodgeball. Some of these things should reappear on the list. Billy Ocean Caribbean Queen absolutely needs to make an appearance. That got bumped early in our deal there. And just to be clear, next week's championship round is not going to include Cop doesn't give you a ticket. However, we could work out potentially an at-large as we get closer there. But
plan.
Well, let's talk about this. Look at what we've got behind you there.
Yeah,
Tim.
we could take them full.
If
we could take them
people
full.
are paying attention.
We'll give them a quick
Yeah,
little dose.
Go ahead, Tim. This is a big thing. I know all the work that PA Jared has put into this. I've worked closely with him, but I got to say, Jared has done the heavy lifting here. Tim and I have contributed. But what we have that we are going to drop on Monday is the first annual Super 70 Sports Why Not tournament. We have taken, what did we have, Tim? Was it 29 winners? 28 winners?
28. This would have been the
like
29th here. Yeah, this would have been the 29th week here.
Okay.
But we had a cutoff due to conference tournaments. So yes, each winner each week we seeded them, right? We went through, we rated them first of all, strength of schedule, volume of victory. Yeah, it was good. It was good. And thanks to our folks in Nashville and Justine, we have cranked out here. This is the first. With the 1 seed in the North bracket, Bacon. You can see what we've done here. We've seeded him like we would. Ricky Henderson. Again, just we did go to the math a little bit in the spirit of Pi Day. But someone like, the 12-4 matchup or 13-4 matchup that Kelly talked about yesterday, how far can Pete Rose go? We'll see. Excited for this.
Yeah, I'm seeing Susanna Hoffs against playoff hockey. Nobody else is going to give you that, my friends. I'll tell you what, you can look all over the internet for that. You may not want to find it. I don't fucking know, but I promise you're not finding it anywhere except for here. That's our own little special brand of lunacy that we like to practice on this program.
Andre the Giant, underseeded at 7. He's underseeded at 7, but he's got a tough matchup against Airplane.
Eager for this.
The last day of school is at 3?
A day.
Last day of school at 3? Oh gosh.
Well, it's a dangerous 3 seed. But I mean, again, there aren't any weak options in this tournament. Every one of these items, except for 4 at-large bids that we gave out, everybody earned their way here. And I think one of our at-large bids is the Beatles. So the Beatles certainly fucking earned it to get in there. So it's going to be fun to see how it plays out. Skipping back to today.
Rick, real quick. Give people the cadence, though. Give people the cadence, because people are used to, look, again, for those who don't pay super attention, Ricky's getting, 5 to 8 to 9,000 votes here on a regular poll, and that's one a day. So we want to go 2 a day next week if you want to give him the cadence there.
Yeah, we're going to go 2 a day starting. So if you haven't thought this out, next week is the Monday of the beginning of the NCAA tournament. Of course, it'll tip off on Thursday. I don't know about the play-in games or however that shit works, Tim. I'm old. I remember when there were 48 teams.
Right. And they're both 11. Anyway, they're all 4 or 11 seeds, and then they still go in as 11.
That part of it still is weird to me.
Why aren't they 16s? But anyway, yep.
Exactly. I never quite got that. But anyway, we're going to start on Monday. And we're going to do 2 a day. So there will be 3 full weeks that will pass Monday through Friday during the NCAA tournament. And then the tournament will conclude the following Monday. So we're going to do 2 of these a day for 3 weeks, Monday through Friday, which will put us all the way down to our championship matchup that we will run the same day that the actual championship game takes place. So it looks good on paper. We've never done it before. And, we're looking forward to, getting some people excited about this. Brackets are going to be available for people to print out. I don't know what we're going to do. We should give something away. We should have people fill out brackets. Although maybe since the people decide this,
right,
maybe that's a bad idea.
Right. We are going to have the bracket on the OutKick newsletter. Yeah. We'll give people the link for the OutKick newsletter. If you haven't signed up yet, sign up. It's awesome. Reworked by a bunch of our editors here, Larry and some others. Really slick, good read, breezy, informative, new newsletter as of like 2 weeks ago. So there'll be a link there. And look, we have a little competition with Joe Kinsey and the in the Woke Bracket Challenge as well. He's got a 5-year head start on us. We'll see if we can catch up. But a bunch of different fun things you won't find anywhere else next week here.
Tim, what are the chances that we get Jared to put together a one shining moment video after this?
Wow, that's a great.
Love it.
Just pictures of bacon. on plates. Somebody
Good
eating
stuff.
bacon.
Yeah, well,
Tim
we have the
eating
Ricky
bacon
Cobb.
in slow motion.
We have the Ricky Cobb theme music, so there's something to go with there.
Just saying.
Yeah. God,
You don't cut
was
down the
one
nets.
moment in
You don't cut.
time is-
You
was
don't cut
always a
down the
favorite.
nets. What do you do in our tournament? I'm not sure.
The ball is tipped.
Yeah, we'll have to
Squeeze the
figure-
cheeks. What do you
we'll have
do?
to
I don't
figure
know.
that out, Tim. Tim, I don't know. I'm thinking things in my mind, and I'm having to decide in real time, as I do every day, whether or not I should say it. I'm going to opt on the not saying it on the
Good
OutKick
choice. Good choice.
platform.
Good choice.
But there's things you can do with scissors. Okay, so let's see here. I'm going to vote for.
Oh,
I mean,
today's
it is
poll.
hard
Here we
not
go.
to
Yeah.
vote today. Yeah, today's poll. I know we're getting so excited about the Why Not tournament. I suppose for me, it comes down to Cop doesn't give you a ticket and Beavis and Butthead. I'm going to have to go with Cop doesn't give you a ticket. It is one of the best feelings in the world. You feel like you got away with something because you did.
You did.
It just gives you that positive mojo. You have to pay for it with like 10 or 15 minutes of discomfort, usually, while you sit there and wonder and question why you're such a dumbass that you got
maybe
pulled
get a
over
little
in the first place,
emasculated.
but- yeah, a little emasculated. I'm always my strategy is, you said the other day, Ron, that your strategy is you like to just like buddy up with them.
Yep.
Just like go guy to guy and kind of
Yep.
remove that.
You guys
You're
get
the
pulled
authority
over that
figure
much?
and
What the hell are you doing?
I'm an idiot. Well, Ron says he's perfected this over the last 8 or 9 times he's been pulled over.
Yeah,
Ronnie, what are you
And I said,
driving, Ronnie?
Ron,
What are you
what
driving?
are you doing?
An Audi.
There's your answer. Okay. Get an AMC and you won't get a ticket.
A Hornet. Maybe a Pacer.
Oh my God. I had to do a field test one time. I actually got pulled over and was given a sobriety test. I had had half of a margarita. Literal truth. I was sober as a judge. I had half of a margarita at dinner, like maybe 2 hours before. I
All
got
full of
pulled
chips.
over. The cop said that I swerved. I don't know about that, but he had me get out. This was at night, late at night. I was on a first date. So you can imagine how great that is. You're on a first date and it's like, okay, well, if you just hang tight for a second, I got to go out to the back of the vehicle and
Just giving her
do a
some
few
bad
maneuvers.
boy vibes.
Where's the moonshine,
Right now.
son? Where's the moonshine,
Yeah.
son?
Yeah, I take a drag off of my heater. I'm like, here, hold my cigarette. I got to go pass a field test, baby. But I told the cop, I said, look, I'm sober. I mean, whatever. You tell me what to do and I'll do it. But they had me walk the line. They had me do the thing where you got to touch your thumb to your fingers and go back.
Yeah.
They were doing
counting
the
backwards is hard.
alphabet.
Pin test.
Yeah, backwards alphabet is hard even if you're sober.
I know.
Yeah,
Z.
absolutely.
I can do Z.
Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah.
What's that? What's
I didn't have to do the backwards alphabet, thank God.
Did you throw a
But
penny
I
in your
passed
mouth,
that
Ricky?
fucking test with
Did
flying
you put a penny in your?
colors. No,
did you
I
put a
was,
What
penny
is
in
that?
your mouth?
What,
I was
what's that?
good.
The penny on your tongue, the
Oh.
copper. You turns your tongue a little green, an old school penny,
Okay.
copper, and then apparently when you blow the breathalyzer, you swab the breathalyzer and blow through your tongue, and apparently the copper. I don't know. Could be a wild.
Sounds like you have experience.
Actually, no.
I love how Tim is like couching his language. Is like,
He's like-
according to
he's
some,
he's like
not that I would know
AOC.
personally.
I've heard.
No, he's like AOC
I've
trying
heard.
to tell him how to avoid
for his
ICE
constituents.
agents.
But in all seriousness,
Yeah, this
I
is
was.
Tim's
Yeah.
webinar today.
I do think.
on
Look, I do
DUI
think.
avoidance.
Not to get deep, I do think that based on some other people and demographics, I think, cop doesn't give you a ticket. I haven't read all the comments. I'm waiting to see if there are some who say, hey, Ricky Cobb, Ron, and Tim, you guys get off tickets more than we do. I don't want to get too deep here on it, political, but I'm glad to see it was an overwhelming number and not a lot of animus in the comments so
Well,
far.
I'm amazed when I get off. I mean, look at me. I'm amazed that when I get the benefit of the doubt from a cop. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? I just
You
I don't
are a
know. I look like I
moonshine
did
running.
something.
Yeah,
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah,
hell
I
you
yeah.
never
expect it.
met
So who do
me.
you guys think's going to finish second? We're pretty much we all agree.
Yeah, we
Cobb's
could
gonna
fire
win.
it. We could fire
Who
it.
do you, Ricky? Who do you think's
I'm
going to
gonna-
finish second?
All right, here's my prognostication for you. Dodgeball is going to finish last.
I agree.
Burrito's third. Burritos third, Beavis and Butthead second.
All
Cop
right, let's
doesn't
light
give
it.
you a ticket first.
Let's light it. I don't remember it that way. I know Cop.
I'm gonna go burritos second.
I think burritos are second too, Ron. I got my knife and fork for the burritos ready for it.
Yep.
Okay, I had burritos and Beavis and Butthead
Backwards. Yep.
misordered there. Yeah, I had them backwards. Burritos second. Again, never underestimate my audience's appetite for delicious things. We have established that. I thought that their love of stupid humor might outweigh it, but coming up a little short there. Dodgeball, a respectable, 14%. It's above the Mendoza line.
Hey, OutKick fans on YouTube, if you enjoyed this episode, hit the subscribe button and make your way over to OutKick.com where you can watch the full episode.